Okay, it's 10 a.m. It's time to call the Operations Committee meeting to order. Is there any pecuniary interest?
None known.
I have none. We have no delegations. Our previous minutes were approved at the last council meeting. Didn't see task list in there. Do we have any
No.
ongoing? I know there's ongoing, and we'll probably
Right.
deal with it through the
report.
yeah, the reports. Okay, no council correspondence. I realize I'm flying through this and we've got health and safety inspection sheets first. Couple little notes on there. I'm sure has been dealt with.
I just have one question. The floor bubbles, did we approve money to replace that?
There has been money put in for a multitude of different repairs, from the outside structural repairs that went from the engineering as well as this. We also did some quotations to be able to replace that entire floor to be able to do it. The bubbles themselves, as has been discussed with staff, have been attempted to be repaired, but there's some spalling underneath the concrete, which is not allowing any bonding. So the suggestion from an external vendor would be to replace that entire space. So until that point where we actually approve a larger repair, we'll continue to identify and see what we can do. Taking to push those bulbs down.
So there's no way to cut a square and then put something new in that spot?
We've tried it.
Have you? Yeah, no, okay.
Because we don't have any extra tiles, and then you can't use the tiles
That you've
that
cut
have
out.
people on them already. We had actually, Babby did a whole bunch of work.
Yeah,
And all the work they did a couple of years ago was starting to.
Right. okay.
There seems to be a common issue in rinks, not just us. Like I'll see it, and I'm always wondering if somebody's coming up with a solution for it.
A lot to do with moisture too.
Yeah, and yeah, just the environment in the arena.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll move to receive and file the arena health and safety inspection sheet.
Sounds good.
And moving on to public works. See anything in the notes
No,
there?
no.
Looks good. We can receive and file that one too. Moving on to new business. Derek, would you like to do the arena monthly report for us, please?
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Derek.
This is the November monthly report for the arena. Interlink Telecommunications has completed the camera install at the community hall. 4 inside and 4 outside. We had our second pane of broken glass on the evening of November 6th. Both panes that have been broke so far. Well, that was earlier. We've had a third since have been replaced, and thanks to Public Works for always stepping up and helping us out with that. We had 3 small repairs completed on the Olympia, new cam, impeller, a check valve were installed on the wash water system. The repairs were done in-house by staff. Black McDonald started the process of identifying all HVAC equipment at the arena and community hall for annual inspections. HSE completed the semi-annual inspections for the fire suppression systems at both the arena and community hall. Black & Mac was in to repair a venting issue with the heater in dressing room 6, found during the identification process earlier in the week. November 15th was the Point Edward Minor Hockey Association Spirit Day. The 80s team was very busy with lots of retro looking outfits. Huge success for all involved. Our new skate patrol, Gavin Callahan, started on November 16th. We welcome Gavin to the team. Gavin will be working alongside our other skate patrol elite to ensure we have coverage for all public skates. Black & Mac refrigeration side, we're in on November 22nd to investigate the condenser on the refrigeration plant. Sounding unusually loud, it was determined the belts on the motor needed to be tightened and the main sleeve bearing greased. No further issues have been reported. Meeting was held with Tom Quinn, the new general manager of the Point Edward Junior B lacrosse team, to discuss scheduling for the 2026 lacrosse season. The full schedule should be available in early January, taking into consideration all previously booked special events at the arena. On November 22nd, Point Minor held two events, face off for mental health and a teddy bear toss for local charity. Once again, the combined events were very busy and great for all involved. November 25th was budget day for the Village of Point Edward. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for generous arena budget. Work management, we have the 3 full-time guys, a seasonal employee, and 2 skate patrols unavailable. Employee training, all employees completed 2 online training courses, fire safety and awareness, and fire extinguishers, basic operation. The facility activity for November, we were 97% booked on prime time and 77% booked on non-prime time. Some of the factors, we saw an increase in both prime time and non-prime time hours booked this month compared to last year at the same time period. Sarnia Minor Hockey Select continues to utilize most of our return primetime ice on the weekends. Interior, regular maintenance, cleaning continue daily. Exterior, general maintenance around the building. Salt bins been placed at the entrances by Public Works in anticipation of the forthcoming winter months. Community hall, obviously the Optimist continued to operate the community hall. Security cameras were installed, and that was a capital budget item. And we were still awaiting a quote for a push bar on the door exiting the bar area at the community hall. I have an update on that. Rick contacted Rick at the fire department, and it's not a necessary requirement by fire code, so I don't know if we'll be proceeding with it. Concession stand, Red and Coat the Rink continue to operate the snack bar. We had a new commercial style coffee maker has been delivered and wired up. Inspections, monthly fire, AED inspections completed, monthly generator. Orkin in for the monthly inspection, no issues reported, and Jutsi Water Technologies in to test the condensed water and set up the chemical controller for the winter season. New chemicals were also ordered and delivered. And then new advertising, nothing to report this month. Vehicles and equipment, Olympia had some repairs as previously noted. Customer satisfaction, we had lots of positive comments from many of our user groups. Health and safety, monthly SOP reviews as assigned by health and safety coordinator were completed. Nothing to report for security. Capital operating budget, new ice floor rentals rates were proposed at previous committee meeting, budget day was November 25th. Closing comments, November 2025 is one of the busiest months for not prime time and prime time ice rentals. Point Edward Minor Hockey hosted 2 big events and utilized lots of ice during the month. Point Edward Skating Club continued with their program throughout the month and worked with Blue Water Regional Training Centers to add additional ice times during the day. We continue to receive a lot of requests for ice during the holiday season. We will try to do our best to accommodate as many users as possible when ice becomes available. On the maintenance side, we had a couple pieces of broken rink glass along with some minor equipment repairs. We also had some scheduled maintenance and inspections completed. Looking ahead to December, we expect another very busy month at the month of ice rentals. The schedule is very busy right through the holiday season. The Point Edward Minor Hockey Association will conclude the fall portion of their hockey schedule. The winter portion of the schedule is expected in early January after the teams are reseeded. Point Edward Skating Club will continue with their program and are rumored to host Santa Claus on multiple occasions. The village will also sponsor an open skate on New Year's Eve from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Sure to be a busy event. We look forward to the busy holiday season and seeing all the families utilize our facility over the holidays. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm glad to assist.
Have questions?
None of this for November.
Just one, a thumbs up. It's nice to hear that Public Works and Arena are assisting in that class. That's always makes me happy to hear our departments working together.
Yeah, it's a great asset to have.
Have you got any feedback from the skate patrol on how things are going?
I communicate with them. Yeah, they're good. Gavin's been a great addition. He's there every week, so it's good.
I just went out on Sunday for a few minutes, did a couple laps around the rink, and it was packed.
I heard it was very busy. Same with the village skate to start was probably too busy, but it's another issue to deal with.
I just want to make sure they're feeling supported.
Yeah, they are, and
There's
there
a
hasn't
lot
been
of people on
any.
the ice.
I mean, any major issues, they'll come and grab us.
Yeah.
Usually it's someone that doesn't like the rules, so, but which is fair.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, move to receive and file the November report. And while you're sitting there, you can take us into
Sure.
December.
This is December's report. So Ainsworth Technical, we're in on December 1st to troubleshoot hot water boiler number 1, not functioning and repetitive error code. The issue was found to be a faulty main control circuit board. This is the same issue we saw on the previous boilers before they were replaced. The manufacturer, along with the supplier, recommending we evaluate and see if we have dirty power coming into the arena. Dirty power is essentially inconsistent or irregular electrical supplies can cause sensitive electronics to malfunction and or fail. Lockhart Electrical has been contacted to look at the issue. A new control circuit board was ordered and will be installed at a later date. Girls Silver Stick schedule was finalized in early December. Whenever we'll host 24 games over 2+ days. The boys schedule is expected in early January. We had medical aid and an ambulance was needed on the evening of December 6th for an elderly lady who was found hitting her head on the wall. It was later reported the lady needed staples to close the wound and on her head and also some focus, but was doing well. Black Mac were in to repair dressing room 6 heater not functioning, new blower fan and exhaust fan motor were installed. Damar Security's in on December 8th for annual inspection of fire alarm panel. On December 10th, we had our 3rd broken pane of rink glass this season. User groups were once again asked to check their pucks for pucks made in China. Interlink Telecommunication were in on December 11th to deal with an IP issue affecting the security cameras at both the community hall and arena. Redemption Paws once again utilized the arena parking lot for a dog transfer on Sunday, December 14th. As previously noted, Redemption Paws is a Canadian dog rescue charity that helps dogs who are affected by dire circumstances find their forever home. Winter Skating Club hosted Santa Claus on multiple occasions during the weeks leading up to Christmas. Santa was an extremely popular guy as he showed off his skating abilities. Ainsworth Technical installed a new control circuit board on hot water boiler number 1 as we await information and a quote from Lockhart Electrical to monitor the power issues. Mike may have more information on this.
I haven't checked
Okay.
that since I've been back.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Sure. We have received the Point Edward Junior B lacrosse schedule for the upcoming season. The Pacers will play 10 regular season home games with the home opener slated for Saturday, April 26th versus Six Nations. We look forward to working with the Pacers once again this summer and wish them the best of luck on a successful season. December 31st was the Village Point Edward holiday skate. Skate was very well attended. Thank you, Mayor Hand, for sponsoring the event. Work management, 3 full-time, 1 seasonal, 2 skate. Employee training, no training assigned this month. For the facility activity, we were 95% booked on prime time and 80% booked on non-prime time. Some of the factors affecting the numbers were holiday closures, obviously Christmas, Boxing Day, etc. And we had a few weather-related cancellations. Interior, regular maintenance and cleaning, continued daily. Roof vents have been closed for the winter season. Exterior, general maintenance around the building. And like I said, we had multiple weather events during the month. Thanks once again to Steve and the crew at Public Works for their prompt response during these winter events. The parking lot is always in mint shape for our patrons. Community Hall, Point Edward Optimists obviously run the community hall. They have no other issues to report. Concessions in, Red and Co continue to run the snack bar, and Red and Co had indicated they will open for the Village Holiday Skate on Wednesday, December 1st. Inspections, monthly AED fire extinguishers, the generator test completed. Orkin was in again, Butesy, evaluating condenser water, and we had the fire alarm panel by Damar Securities. In venue advertising, nothing to report. Vehicles and equipment, nothing to report. Customer satisfaction, lots of positive comments from many of our rental groups during the holiday season. Health and safety, monthly SOPs were reviewed and as assigned by the health and safety coordinator. Nothing to report on security. Capital and operating budget, all 2025 capital budget items have been completed. Planning for completion of 2026 capital budget projects and items have begun. New Olympia is slated to be spec'd out and ordered in the new year. Closing comments. December ended what was a remarkably busy month at the end year at the arena. Whenever minor hockey concluded the fall portion of the hockey schedule and will await the reseeded winter schedule starting in January. Point Edward Skating Club continued their program throughout the month and hosted Santa Claus a few times during the holiday season and also hosted a couple family skates. During the holiday season, we hosted multiple family skates along with many other user groups utilizing the arena for various events. Looking ahead to January, the ice schedule will be busy once again. We will host both the girls and boys international silver stick tournaments during the month. The 26th annual girls silver stick hockey tournament is slated for January 2nd to 4th. The boys North American silver stick finals tournament will take place from January 16th to 8th. Point River Blackhawk Minor Hockey Association will start the second half of their season in early January, along with the Point Edward Skating Club starting their second half of the season ice skating program. Once the silver stick tournaments are complete, we will start planning for the upcoming spring and summer season, contacting our user groups and getting their floor times booked. We will also be in contact with 3 other vendor groups, Sounds of Pop Culture, Page Friendly, Sarnia Lambton, and Sarnia Quilters, who have dedicated events planned for this spring and summer. Any questions or concerns? No, this is.
Questions?
I said a comment, just wanted to acknowledge the arena staff for both, once again, both silver stick tournaments. I know one's coming up, but the fact that you guys agree to pick up extra shifts on those weekends. I know you already work a lot of weekends and work-life balance, but the fact that you guys willingly agree to send in a third guy on those weekends to make sure our facilities run perfectly and it doesn't affect the renters should be acknowledged, because like I said, you already work enough weekends, and then to come in and be the third person is great. So we appreciate that. That's all I have.
Did we ever come up with a cancellation policy for, timelines of canceling ice, not weather related? I remember we had talked about that.
Come up with a user agreement, yeah.
Okay, has it had to come into play at all? Like, I realize you have a waiting list typically where you can fill
Yeah.
those slots.
No, and the cancellations are far and few between, other than whether Point Minor had to cancel a game, but
Yep.
they cancel half-hour ice because they just practice instead of having a game.
Yeah.
I mean, but as for user groups canceling or not showing up, maybe a handful.
Yeah, there's just the odd Sunday where I see after public. safety, it's
Coyotes,
empty.
they've been spoken to.
Yeah.
They're it would be the only one, but again, they've
I
had.
wasn't trying to center them out,
No.
but that just,
They've had weather related, but they never used the ice at all. They
Yeah.
They never practiced or nothing. They just said, oh, we're not playing, so.
and I know you're quick to be proactive to fill
Right.
those slots if you get enough of a heads up.
Yeah.
Which we do appreciate that.
Well, as Derek has said before, there are groups who monitor our schedule, and as soon as they see an hour open up, it's like your phone goes off the,
Crazy.
yeah.
Well, I look at it too,
Yeah.
as just, I saw there was a conflict where there was a Point Edward minor hockey team that was playing out of town on their practice night, but they still had the ice booked. And then I noticed that it did get
Yeah.
shifted and that hour got rented, which is awesome to see.
Yep.
Not that I was second guessing. I'm
Oh,
always
that's good.
looking for ice myself for what I do, but
Everyone else is looking at it too. so-
yeah. Okay, any feedback on that first weekend of Silver Stick things
Oh, it
for
was
you
good.
guys?
It was busy, very busy, but it was good. We had McJackson for Marshall. It was great. We were ahead most of the weekend till the Saturday night. Yeah, very smoothly run.
Good.
And then they also Sunday morning, they changed the rules for overtime, which actually helped us because there was overtime again on the Sunday morning, so.
That's good.
And boys start this weekend, When's your first game?
7:30 Friday morning.
7:30 Friday morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I was looking at that hour, because I know there's teams coming in from Texas and the Southeast, and if you're flying and there happens to be maybe an hour of ice on a Thursday night just to get a light skate with your
Yeah.
team before you go, but that already got scooped up.
Yeah,
I know there's Texas Tigers team that has some games in Point River Arena.
oh, nice.
Yeah. Again, I already looked ahead. I always look at those schedules and see who's coming in and which games I want to sneak over and watch.
Yes, I think we actually have one U18 game too
Oh, really?
on Friday night at 9. I think. So it should be nice too.
It's good. Okay, thanks. We'll receive and file that one as well. And if Mike would like to come up for the Public Works monthly report.
But my computer needs a little bit of battery charge. All right. Well, thank you. This is the Public Works report for November and December. I conglomerated all the details here, as there were a number of overlapping scenarios that we saw through that time frame. So no updates from the previous month. Work management, we had 4 full-time, and a couple of people were on vacation here and there, but it was well staffed. It was no issues at that point. Employee training, we had the emergency exercise, we had a work-life balance, fire safety, the fire extinguisher / fire safety awareness online course, as well as the violence, harassment, and stigma policy self-review. Those are all completed. The building itself. So a new scheduled inspection and maintenance of interior heating systems in the Public Works building occurred through November and December. A number of issues were found and identified, as well as anything that was critical to repair was repaired. Like I say, and then we had inspection and repair parts replaced in the large roll-up doors. This was also a long-standing issue that we had seen from rodent and other infiltration of animals to a very cold environment. So that has all been completed, and the units are working at top efficiency at the moment. Then externally, we had HVAC assessment and repairs done on the units above the roof, as well as a vendor inspected and repaired both the main roof area and the flat roof area on Public Works. There had been a number of leaks that had been identified within the space, but had never been repaired. So they had understood what that was, went up and repaired all those sections to make sure that we don't have any structural issues that can form from the infiltration of water. Inspections, vendors came to the site to return a number of extinguishers that were previously found from the inspections. Again, that was from the previous. So sidewalks, road sidewalks, parking lots, late fall leaf removal and street sweeping occurred much later than usual due to the extended warm season that we saw right up into November to December. Normally that would be something that would be done a little bit earlier, but again, we had to work with nature. An extended last compost pickup over 2 days occurred in November. There was no extensions of compost into December this year. It was important to be able to do that. There was quite a bit of compost that we did see again because of the late year, and we did get some comments that there was some appreciation that was over a 2-day period. Salt bins were distributed throughout the village, and they were filled and ready for winter activities. No parking and shared pathway signs were installed along St. Clair Street. No overnight parking were also installed throughout the village. Many heavy snow events and refreezing rain events happened in the month of December. And it was good that we were ready with the salt bins and such to be able to respond to that. And then we also had many salt deliveries, which supported the road clearing and the safety throughout December. We did have some, like many municipalities, because of the weather, salt became a bit of an issue in terms of deliveries, but we were able to obtain what we needed to without any issues. Public parks and public spaces. Further work on the memorial benches happened at the end of November. We just used as much time as we could with the nice weather to be able to complete that. Continued mulching and leaf blowing through November and into December. All equipment supporting the Christmas lights as well as the lights themselves were installed in the village. The new installation of lights along Light Street supported the business in that area. That went very successfully. Repairs along the main pathway lighting also occurred, so we did have some lights that were out as well as some fusible links that needed to be repaired. Further lighting outages were identified and repaired. Snow removal and ice mitigation occurred daily through November as we had the major snow and ice events, and Public Works supported all the details for Christmas in the village, which again was once again a very strong success. Inspections, audits, nothing to report. Vehicles, all public vehicles went for undercoating treatment as well as to better support winter activities. The Coyote tractor was also put back into service with all the salt and snow plowing details to support pathway and sidewalk clearing and ice mitigation. Kubota RTV went in for its pre-winter servicing and put the salt detail on the back of it. E-testing for all large diesel vehicles occurred prior to annual relicensing. The garbage truck was taken out of service in the winter months, and the garbage bin was delivered to collect all the garbage that Public Works goes and picks it up at the Waterfront Park and all the different parks for the winter season. All other vehicles were not operating normally. Other motorized equipment, maintenance on the lawn equipment continued. We just make sure that it's in good shape for the incoming season, especially for large lawnmower equipment occurred through this month. Parts and equipment have been purchased to complete winterization of all the units. Health and safety, the health and safety inspections occurred, security, nothing to report at that point. Community feedback through the month of December, many residents paid kind regards to the Public Works staff, I should say, sorry about that, for all the hard work. The staff was recognized for going above and beyond to support the community. There was a number of cards and deliveries that were made to the staff, which I was very appreciative. Looking forward, long-term forecast indicate that a cooler than normal winter with some heavier than normal precipitation. So staff will continue to confirm all the vehicles and all the equipment and required details will be prepared and ready for supportive maintenance activities throughout the village. Closing comments. I once again want to thank the Public Works staff for all their hard work and diligence through November, December in cleaning up very late leaves, branches that came down from specific storms, and working tirelessly through the snow and ice events to maintain a safe environment to the village. The dedication, even through New Year's Eve, right into the new year, to make sure that the roads were safe for people to travel as well as travel during this time, but it has not gone unnoticed. They worked through New Year's Eve to make sure that the roads were safe for transit and such. So I'm very proud of that. Very pleased to see that. Any questions?
Questions?
Good.
No, again, just appreciate the hard work that goes into keeping our roads safe, and as someone who travels outside of the village, I know not every municipality puts the care into it that we do, and it is appreciated.
Like the
Sure.
signs for St. Clair not parking on the marked pathway, where is that happening?
The guys installed it, as far as I understand, this was on the report when I spoke to our foreman there, they installed them along the poles along the pathway there.
Where, like, so people were parking,
They still, there was still some parking on the south side of the road on St. Clair, which we don't have any egress for them at that point,
Yeah.
so that's for the sign.
but they were actually parking on the pathway or on the road?
On the side,
On
on
the
the
side.
side of the road.
But there wasn't already no parking signs along there.
No.
That's all, yeah.
I had one sign question too. I kind of slipped my mind. I had talked to Jim about it just in passing. Do we have any of the volunteer firefighter green light signs that we could put somewhere? And I'm only thinking about two locations as they're coming in along St. Clair Street or on Michigan Ave, because any of the other side streets, I think most people would know that there's a volunteer firefighter living in their neighborhood and what the green light means.
It's funny you bring that up. I was just talking to Rick last week about that. And so I've raised it previously and Fire Chief Mackenzie didn't support those signs.
Okay.
I don't know why, but he didn't think it was necessary, but
Mhm.
Rick thinks it would be a good idea and would support it. So
Just in my travels, I saw them a few
Yeah.
times just on secondary highways and stuff like that. On Egremont Road going into London at
Yeah.
that end, I've seen them a few times, and I just think in the village, I've seen it, and again, gotten some feedback from some of our firefighters that a lot of people don't know what the green light means,
Yeah.
and when they're trying to respond in a, efficient manner, it'd be nice to have, and again, I'm sure the fire department occasionally shares on social media what the green light means, but even if those two locations, somewhere along St. Clair Street and then maybe somewhere along Michigan Ave.
I would even think about like at the entrances to the village, right? Like,
Yeah.
Up by
Front in Michigan.
front in Michigan, or even Christina, Michigan, really, you're in the village along Christine at the entrances, so.
Yeah, because we do have some firefighters that live on the outskirts that aren't actually in the village and be responding.
And I know sign companies already have it made. It's not like it's a custom order. It's just
Right.
find their catalog and order them up, so.
I can certainly, I'll speak to our staff to identify if we have any of those signs that
As
currently
long as we
exist.
have, I haven't seen
I
them.
haven't seen
Yeah.
anything that resembles that as well, but I'll take it back and I can certainly contact our sign vendor to.
And we should probably circle back with Rick to make sure that he.
Yeah.
Is.
They say that might need to go to another committee,
Yeah.
but Public Works is in charge of the signs, so.
I'll
I'd start here.
I can gather all the details from this point and then I can further have discussions with Rick in regards to that, sure. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we move on to item 4, new business, village recycling for properties not supported by circular materials.
Thank you. Okay. So again, as identified what this was, it's just a memo in regards to the changes that are for circular materials within the province of Ontario. A recommendation that this report is received and that staff recommend to pass cost to the recycling contract to the businesses receiving services to be implemented. Description of work to date to contract services for the recycling waste haulers, the local Point Edward businesses to be covered by circular materials, not covered by circular materials, my apologies. So the province of Ontario is transitioning to a cost sharing model with the municipalities and producers to a full extended producer responsibility, which is that EPR system, and it's effective as of January 1st this year. Under this new framework, producers of packaging and paper products will assume 100% of the financial and operational responsibility for the residential blue box recycling. This change will directly affect recycling services for small businesses, industries, commercials, and in institutional sectors. Village staff have contacted local waste hauler agencies to request quotations and confirm availability for continued recycling pickup for businesses within the village of Point Edward. After reviewing and clarifying the proposals, staff selected Mterra as the preferred vendor. Mterra provided a competitive quote and will schedule pickups every other week, aligning with residential collection frequency, but on separate days due to a clear distinction between the recycling streams. The exact pickup date is still to be finalized, but we had the anticipated date to be Friday, January 16th, which is this coming Friday, and it will be every other Friday from that point on. The estimated cost of the village for this service is approximately $22,000. Staff recommended that council implement a cost recovery approach by charging local businesses for the service, ensuring a net neutral impact on the village budget. It is important to note that many businesses currently manage recycling independently and are not yet integrated into this new system.
So just to expand a little bit on this, an email went out yesterday to the businesses that we've been able to identify. The current contractor provided us with a list and we gathered as many contacts as we could, sent them an email because we still haven't got confirmation. We waited as long as we could to get confirmation from Mterra that they in fact will be going Friday. We've been told they will. We don't have it in writing yet that they're going on Friday. So I tried to get in contact with them yesterday before I sent the email, but was unable to. So an email went out to those businesses last night. I know we'll miss some. I know we have contacted, I shouldn't say I know. I assume that we've contacted a couple that don't use that recycling service, but we can add and remove names as we get contacted. So that mass email went out to people last night, late in the day, to let them know that their pickup will be Friday instead of Tuesday. That was a requirement of the contractor. Both contractors that we were working with to get pricing, both said they needed it on a different day because the province requires them to keep the two streams separate. And for efficiency and cost effectiveness, the contractor that's going to be providing the service to commercial customers in the village is also providing to the city of Sarnia and I believe St. Clair Township, and they'll do it all on the same day. So that's why we needed to go with a different day.
And further to that, Mterra, who was already collecting recycling in the community here, knew every vendor in every space. They could tell you exactly the addresses that they were picking up from. So there was extra support from that aspect, understanding that when we created our list, they said, yes, we don't pick up from there. So, and it is a moving target because as the CAO has mentioned, that there could be someone who's not been part of the service before, who's interested in becoming part of this service, and we can modify that at that point. large vendors such as the hotels or anybody down on Venetian, they have their own services already contracted out for recycling at this point, so.
Do you have any questions?
So a couple holes in the report I just want to fill here, like how many businesses are part of this?
Approximately 40 to 50.
And then, so what would the cost per business be? Divide 22,000 by 40 or 50, how much are you proposing you charge them?
Yeah, that's,
So I believe it was about $14 per pickup.
No, but how much will each business?
that's,
be
yeah.
affected?
So per year, oh, sorry, yes.
If there were 50 users, it'd be about 440 per business.
You're proposing and then how would you collect this from the businesses?
It would need to be an invoice produced by the village and sent directly to the.
And would you be drafting a contract with them to hold them like, so that they pay? Like you'd have to have some sort of.
Yeah, would there be
binding
a
contract.
letter going out to them explaining what we're doing? And I mean, I assume we're gonna be eating this cost for the first little while. Not really a contract. I mean, they have to have recycling service. So if they wish to opt out of this, then they would need to provide their own, they'd need to enter into an agreement with a different on their own, not through the village.
Or not recycle that, which we're hoping that is not the case.
Without a contract, though, I could, if I was a business, I could put my recycling out all year and just never pay. And then
But it won't be collected.
so you're saying they have to pay before we do any
That-
collection?
That's what we're recommending, is that we bill businesses for this service. Because so the provincial mandate is that the producer pay the cost of the recycling. And the way it's set up through the circular materials, they've determined that, let's say a business such as, what you go and buy at the store, your pop cans, your cereal boxes, that kind of thing, is residential recyclable material produced by Kellogg's or Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
The stuff that is being produced in a business in your village is determined to be that business is determined to be the generator of that recycling, and therefore they are responsible for the cost. It's very convoluted and difficult. I think it's going to be a problem. And Circular Materials is working on trying to get the province to just go back to the way it was and do all the recyclables. But for now, that's the idea, is that the producer is responsible for the cost of recycling, and the province's determination is those local businesses are the actual producers of those materials
Um,
in this situation.
and another thing I don't see here is how much are we saving this year on the residential pickup? Because we're not paying for it.
We haven't been paying for it this is about the third year, July 1st of 20. Off the top of my head. So we haven't been paying for recycling for 2 or 3 years now. 23.
And how much were we paying prior to that? And
I think our budget was about 50 to 60,000.
questions, Paul?
I think you covered the questions I was considering. I still, I guess that is more about a provincial level, the things I can't wrap my head around. And if my staff bring in a case of pop at the back that I purchased somewhere, all of a sudden it no longer is the responsibility of the pop manufacturing company.
That's what I don't
Like, it's
get
just
either.
odd to
Yeah.
me how, because I don't see what, just a small business, how they would be responsible for producing that. Like,
Mhm.
and I know you can't answer that. That's just
Yeah.
where I'm kind of stuck on it.
I think their line of thinking is that by conducting that business, they are generating recyclable materials. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all.
I find
think-
small businesses get stuck with stuff
Yeah.
sometimes, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm, you know, everybody has this imaginary wealth that a little small business generates, and it seems like they take a lot of hits.
Mhm.
Well, the example I think about is the little sandwich shop, Red and Co.
Mm,
They generate pop and bottles and the like, so why should they be responsible for the recycling of stuff that they bought from a store?
mhm.
And that's one example, but even trying to think of others, but
I'm just thinking of the hotels. I would know that every hotel has a large dumpster in the
Yeah.
back. They have, you know, recyclables here, cardboard only in this bin, and, you know, waste in this bin, and they pay for pickups and they take care of that. Big plazas anywhere in a larger city, they have that as well. Everybody who pays rent to be in that commercial plaza, there's typically dumpsters in the back that are labeled the same. I realize it's kind of a waste of time because it's not
Well-
something I'm gonna fix here, but
If I may, a suggestion is to write a letter to the provincial government and explain the confusion and the, like, how we don't feel their process is correct. And encourage them, ask them to reconsider there's been a bit of correspondence like that, and you know, I think that would be a reasonable thing for the village to do, is to send a letter saying, would you please reconsider your process to include ICI is the short term
Mhm.
for industrial, commercial and institutional waste or recyclables.
sure, I would like to make that recommendation. That we do that and, you know, maybe include some of these holes,
Yeah.
as you would put it, that
Yeah.
that exist in this. And again, my fear is that somebody goes, oh, you know what? I'll just toss it
That's just
and it doesn't get recycled.
or if I'm a local bin, I'll just take it home,
Yeah,
put it on my curb.
Mhm.
And
Like, you know,
so I don't support the recommendation to pass it on to businesses for 2026 personally. I think, first of all, we dropped the ball on like communicating and getting this in place. We've had 2.5 years to get where we are today. I think we should just eat it for the year, write to the province, tell the province we're eating it for a year until they figure out what they're doing with it. And then we have proper lead time to let these businesses know that they might have to make alternate arrangements, or this is what the cost may be. But to just all of a sudden write a letter to businesses tomorrow saying, oh, by the way, you owe us almost $500 for your recycling. When, like I say, we've known about this for years, that this was gonna happen on January 1st, 2026. This didn't just surprise us.
yeah, we haven't known about it for years. We've known there's gonna be recycling changes, and we knew that the province was taking over responsibility for recyclables for us. I mean, it was different dates for different people. We didn't know how it was gonna affect us until the last few months, and the information was it was a pretty convoluted process to follow to get to where we are. We knew there was changes coming. We didn't know specifically what those changes were.
Okay, well, other communities, their ducks in a row before
Uh,
January 1st, so.
Yeah,
I say, I can't support it. It's just
that's fair.
charging them now.
Yeah.
At this 11th hour of US 400 and some odd dollars plus tax or whatever. And then, given that we've saved $50,000 or $60,000 a year in recycling at the residential level, I think we need to support, as Councillor Bird just said, small businesses just don't have a bottomless pit of money to pull, and it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but to some businesses it is significant. So, and then the risk we have if we do that is the hotel may say, well, we'll just get rid of our dumpster for recyclables and just put it out at the curb, right, which will increase our costs. But that's a risk we take, right? Like, because whether we say that we're only going to pick up small businesses, how do we define
Yeah,
that? That's where you start to get complicated.
you know, part of the issue you get in, why is the province messing with something that?
Yeah, so I think my recommendation is we absorb this for a year.
Mhm.
We write a letter to the province and all the different ministries and say that in an effort to support our small businesses and to make sure that they are able to continue and sustain, that the village will pay for 1 year, but we
Mhm.
ask that they reconsider And then if by July they say, nope, sorry, then we have 6 months to educate the business community and tell them that this is gonna be your new fee on January 1st, you pay it by November 1st or whatever.
Mhm.
And then we've got a good comms plan and a good
Okay.
implementation plan.
So we'll amend the recommendation that's in here, that the report shall be received and filed, and that communication be prepared, correspondence be prepared to the province to outline our concerns with the program and lobby them to change it and
And that we will,
review the fee.
and that we'll pay the,
Yeah, that,
but I guess I spoke with Council Burgess, I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I agree, but I was wondering if we had much feedback from any of the businesses yet?
they haven't had much of an opportunity, right? Like and the fee part of it has not been discussed with them at all.
And I agree with the CAO. I've been trying to keep up on this and read as much as possible articles, and there hasn't really been a definite, this is going to be the path. It's been hard to juggle because you hear, well, they might do this and they might do that. So I think we've managed it as well as we could, given the lack of information from the province. That's why I'd like to go back, and I agree with covering the businesses for the year.
So we'll make that, put that wording in the
Yeah.
motion as well then.
I think about the Lena Street businesses and even, some of the places, what are they producing? I think there's like an accounting firm in there, there's a massage clinic, little places, and it's maybe an employee brought a can of pop and I don't,
And then we're expecting to pay $440.
yeah, and I don't remember seeing a dumpster behind that business, but because of the lack of space, there's a very narrow alleyway back there. I know at Davy Jones, there's a dumpster that sits in behind their business for what they do. I think it says cardboard on it, if I remember correctly. But I don't know how those really, small businesses need to be penalized for that.
Mhm. There's a few businesses that recycle their cardboard with a contractor because there's a market for that.
Mhm.
And then they put their other recyclables out of the road. So they've got a bin, Faber-Tile as an example.
Yeah.
They got a cardboard bin and then they put blue box out of the road with cans and that type of thing.
Okay.
Councilor Martin.
Can I make a comment? All the businesses have the recycle out this morning.
Yes,
What is gonna be told to them and when is pickup? Because there's a huge issue in Toronto and other municipalities about missing pickup. And if they don't know, we're gonna be getting phone calls like crazy.
it's not a problem because ours is out for collection today for this
And ours-
village office.
Ours can't be out because we don't get collected.
I know.
That's right.
So we didn't even know that today's not collection day.
It didn't occur to me that
Yeah.
the hours would be, yeah. So as I said, like an email went out last night. And I fully expect phone calls and everybody's been given an email to, to explain to people what's going on. And that businesses will be picked up on Friday. So I agree that it's not, but yeah, anyone answering the phones has been, asked to get their name and address and email address. Because, with this change, our thought is to be sending an email out a night or two before the Friday to remind people, to remind businesses. So we'd like to put together a list of addresses for the first little while at least to get them, because the calendar, which was produced 2 or 3 months ago, it doesn't refer to it at all.
It doesn't
So,
give you the new upgraded standards for recycling,
right,
because the list is growing considerably.
yeah.
So we've got the wording on that.
Yeah, well,
recommendation.
we'll craft it, so it's gonna be the report received and filed, that the village pay the cost of the ICI recycling for 2026. That, and a letter goes out to the province outlining our concerns, and that a communication plan be prepared for potential implementation of a fee in 2027.
Okay. Good, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Okay, move on to item 5, speed camera analysis.
I can move to receive and file.
Sure. Do you want to go through?
Sure, thank you. Appreciate that, thank you. All right, as has been noted, we've been doing this report for a bit now, so this one is a monthly report on Michigan, on Front Street, and Venetian, which has now been moved over to St. Clair. And it was for the months of November and December. Just for Michigan, sort of Front Michigan and St. Clair monthly analysis reporting. Yeah, I've gathered all the data and completed and processed all of the overall dashboards and as well as some trending on some large scale data. And like I said, we've broken this all out, and it's been broken down on an hourly basis, which allows me to do all the analysis you can see in terms of the spreadsheets and the graphs that are also connected to this. So on Front Street, the average speed, I look at southbound data in volume. So southbound is anything that is outgoing from the village. And northbound is anything incoming to the village. So with the speed distribution, when we look at the analysis, 63.8% of inbound traffic conform to the speed limit, whereas 4.7% exceed, and that's 60 and above. These numbers are both average for the previous month, and it's correlated with some steady traffic along this route. They've been pretty consistent from what we've seen in the previous years. There's been no major differences in terms of extreme speeds or people not conforming to that. It's a pretty quick area. Conversely, when you're looking at the outbound traffic, again, southbound, it's 58.5% of traffic conforms to speed, with 5.1 shows excessive speeds. These numbers are lower than previous months. As well as the average daily traffic seen along that is about 3,700 plus vehicles, and it's about 59% of the vehicles are heading outbound, heading south. Now, the overall traffic patterns changed, and this has been interesting because previous to the construction projects that we had on Michigan and we had on St. Clair Street, when we had some closures and such, as well as the construction project that Sarnia had on Michigan, changed the traffic patterns where it was almost even the entire way. We find this has gone back to what we saw last year when the entire thing was open, where people seem to be transiting down Michigan and then down Front Street to enter downtown core. And that's what we're seeing again with everything being opened up again. So it was interesting to see that year over year data to reconform with that, with the roads being opened back up the way they were previously. On Michigan, the average speed, again, we're looking at outbound traffic, so that's anything eastbound. And then the volume, again, we're higher than the westbound. So again, people coming out of the village. Traffic speed, when it's factored in, we've got 75.8% of people conform with 2% excessive speeds. I mean, these numbers are trending lower than previous month, and it also correlates with decreasing traffic volume. So again, as winter comes along, we do see that there's less traffic and speeds do slow down and become more conforming to the traffic laws. As well, conversely, 71.3% of outbound traffic, and with the excessive speeds of 3.6%. Again, the incoming traffic are trending very similar to the previous months, and again, correlating with the increase in traffic along that way. So it's interesting to see how the traffic patterns change along Michigan, specifically in the winter. The average for both directions was approximately 5,000 vehicles per 5,300 vehicles per day, and it's about 50-50 traffic volume down that space. Overall, we've seen a decrease again due to season. That's very, very it's a year over year comparison shows that once again. And then in St. Clair Street, which is again the new cameras, we have 2 months worth of data here. So again, trending is hard to identify, but that had been moved over. And again, the way the traffic, just for anybody that hasn't seen it, the screen itself is facing outbound from the village. So as you're transiting out of the village, you'll be able to see the speed sign. So the average speed along this, when we factor all that in, it's 71.6% of the inbound traffic. So that's people heading west into the village, conform to the speed, and 2.3% show an excessive speed. Again, 2 months old, hard to have a trend at this point. As well as the outbound traffic, 71.9% and 2.3% have the excessive speed. We're only seeing about maybe 1,400 vehicles a day down space, and 45% of those vehicles are outbound. So most of the traffic that we've seen so far is transiting out of the village. So again, it's a very there's not a lot of traffic that we've seen down in that space yet, and I don't, again, with no trend analysis, I don't have anything to be able to compare that to. Overall comparison, when we looked at here with, and this just shows a graph to help assist understand what's going on. It takes all the 3 speed cameras and then overlays the same data for all 3 of them. So you have your overall traffic volumes, you've got your overall speeds, and that's correlated with so yeah, it's just always over the year, average traffic speeds of all 3 locations generally remained around the posted for the generally remain below the 50%. There's some minor exceptions on Front Street where the speeds kind of spike. Among the monitor area, Michigan recorded the highest consistent traffic volume, indicating it's the most frequently traveled corridor in and out of the village. In contrast, Venetian and now, by taking Venetian out of that, St. Clair is obviously the lowest traffic, and it's the less common used route into the village itself. And you can see where the analysis, the pink, or I believe that's might be purple, that shows you the speed comparison in terms of its overall speed. It's well below 50 in terms of an average, as well as there is a small purple line there which indicates the traffic volumes, the trend line or the volumes of the traffic that we see. You can see that's what it's just a comparison for everybody.
I just had one question, is the comparable from Venetian to St. Clair, and I realize St. Clair is new, is it similar or St. Clair lower?
In terms of speed or
Volume?
Volume, well lower.
Okay.
Well lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the trend line you can see. That's that purple trend line below that is the average. I think the Venetian average, if I'm correct, was 2,200 per day, whereas right now we're seeing about 1,400 on St. Clair. I don't know. Again, I think having more data will help us allow to determine whether it's because the route is still relatively, the changes in the route is new, or if that is a standard traffic volume that would be in that route. It'd be interesting to see more spring and summertime as people start to use that a little bit more. But that's what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, that was the number I was kind of looking at when I asked to have it moved to St. Clair Street. I wanted to see what that traffic volume is, and I realize we've got a very small sample size, but.
Right. If on the reports, I believe we have the overall graphs of the details. I like that. I did the individual, I broke down the individual graphs, and you'll be able to see there's some points along that St. Clair route where there's 40 cars an hour. It was relatively lightly used, specifically during the day from 9, 10 o'clock and 30-40 cars an hour along that traffic both ways was.
So if I may, we used to put the speed spy and the trailer on St. Clair frequently. And do you not have that data, Jim?
Yeah, we can find, I'm sure we can find
it. Good to give to Mike so that we can check volume and speed prior to the construction.
Sure.
And then see how that relates to today, and see whether the volume now is lower based on the design of that road, because the road used to be a wide open, go as fast as you want type of roadway. Our redesign with the bulb outs, the elimination of a lane, may have people using Michigan in front more so than St. Clair, because St. Clair is a little slower now and more of a residential feel than a 4-lane or a wide open road. So I know we ran it quite a bit over there, the speed spy, the actual.
Yeah, we can.
And you used to acquire that data.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
Maybe you can.
It's gonna be a little bit difficult to compare because it only tracked one way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we ever recorded which way.
Oh, yeah.
We may have.
Yeah.
I'll look and see what I can find, and we'll do what we can.
It's such a comparable one way or another in terms of that. I mean, again, we do have more traffic occurring one way than the other, but again, with the traffic volumes, it's broken down on an hourly basis, and I can even break it down further if I really needed to. So I can compare the data.
We'll see what we can find.
Because it'd be nice to know that if that redesign had a positive impact, then it's
Mhm.
something to move forward with in other roads or whatever too, so.
I'm finding it interesting in some of the data that we can pull out, that I can pull the max of the max speeds per hour for the entire months of each one of them, and by far, St. Clair is the slowest max speeds that we see anywhere in the village, and I think the bulb outs and the tightening of the road certainly has an effect on that, whereas we'll see 120, 130, which there could be anomalies or emergency vehicles or what have you. But there's, I mean, rarely is it above 80 kilometers an hour in terms of max speeds at certain hours of the day, so.
I know the fire department tripped a 78 when the sign first went in, going somewhere, so they were,
Well, and even the OPP use St. Clair Street, you know,
Mhm.
their
Mhm.
office is on the corner of St. Clair and Michigan, and if they're going out to the highway and responding to an emergency, sometimes they'll go faster than the speed would say. I appreciate that. I have one question, not necessarily related to this. A little while ago, we got an email from a resident on Sandy Lane talking about the volume, the loud cars. And I was curious, that kind of got really quiet. I haven't heard much about it. Is there equipment that measures that municipal police forces would have access to?
I can certainly look into it. There are some decibel meters that can be utilized for that type of thing. I can certainly ask the question.
And I realize it's a seasonal thing, like this time of year, you typically don't hear as much of that. Your windows are closed, it's cold out, but I know we all received an email from the resident from Sarnia, but I'm curious if that exists or.
That might be a good question to ask the Police Services Board.
yeah.
Yeah,
I believe they've addressed what do you do about vehicle noise, like, so we can do that as well.
okay. Okay, thank you again for your detailed report on the traffic volumes and speeds. Move to receive and fire, you've already
Yep.
moved that.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other new business?
So, not that I know.
I know we've discussed this upcoming weekend that we do have the Silver Stick at the Point Road Arena Friday and Saturday, and lots of good hockey to watch if anybody's interested. Lots of coach buses will be going through the village, so just a heads up.
I'll be in another frame of mind. I'll be the boat show, not Silver Stick. I'm already, spring is here. Derek had his hand up though.
Did you have a question?
I shared an email with Mike.
Mhm.
Yeah, I should have from the Facebook.
Yeah.
Can
Oh.
you discuss or?
I think
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm
Okay.
sorry.
We should,
I've-
just a starting discussion, I
Yeah,
think
they've,
is good.
Sent an email requesting upgrades to their dressing room.
Oh, yeah.
I'm writing in regards to potential upgrades to the dressing room used by the Point Edward Junior Pacers, the Point Edward Arena. Over the years, stalls in the rooms have become worn down and are beginning to break, which detracts from the appearance and functionality of the space. We have a company willing to install new metal shelves and hooks at no cost to the village. These durable shelves will benefit not only the Junior B Pacers, but also other user groups who use the arena. So they're essentially want to replace the wooden shelves that were placed in there years ago by them with metal. Apparently someone's donating the steel and metal, someone else is installing. It's just looking at.
Yeah,
something they can do, or.
I spoke to somebody from the Pacers and they're even thinking now about redoing the benches as well, like with the shelves and benches. The only, I support it. The only thing we need to make sure is that the hooks are the breakaways, right? That they're not. Oh, no, okay, so
Dressing rooms, 1, 2, and 3, you still have the old school hooks.
okay, so if they're gonna add these, I think we need to make sure that they're upgrading to the proper breakaway hooks.
Okay.
In that room, that's only, otherwise, I think it's a great idea. That room is, we've used it a couple times for the U18s and it could use a refresh, so if they're willing to do that and.
There's some other additional details that you and I have spoken about. We might be able to tie into that as well. In one of the challenges, or not challenges, one of the things that we'll have to also look at is just making sure that they're a vendor. Well, whoever's installing the work, we'll make sure they're become a vendor of record and go through the proper process for that type of thing. So.
And for whatever they are, they've done work with us before.
So I think going forward, you can kind of leave this with the staff, especially because there's no budgetary, and we'll just report back through this committee where we're at with it.
Okay.
Great. Okay, we move on to financial statements. We have the end of December numbers there.
Yeah, no questions.
Any questions? No? I know we covered that all on budget day. Don't have anything here. We'll move to receive and file,
Mhm.
and the public works.
Yep, same
financials.
thing, yep.
I'm good with that too. Receive and file those. Our next meeting date will be February the 10th. Move to adjourn.
Yep, so moved.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.